and then followed by the pledges. Mr. Hollinger.
Pray with me, if you would. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us here today and directing us to do your work. May we follow through and our actions be acceptable, and you will show your wisdom through our actions and deeds. Take care of our first responders who do so well in taking care of us. Guide and direct us, keep us on the path that you have destined that we would travel. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please follow me in honor of the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay. First item of business is to offer the opportunity for members of the public to speak to the board. Anyone wishing to do so? Seeing none, hearing none, we move to the Chancellor's update.
Okay. At this time, I invite Dr. Garrett to come forward and give us a SACS update.
Hello, everyone. For the past 2 years, you've heard me talk about our SACS reaffirmation process, and I'm very, very pleased to report that we were not found out of compliance with any of the 72 standards that we have the ability to write to. Now, there's one that we don't have the ability to write to, and you probably heard me say this, the integrity one, and that will be determined by the on-site committee, but I don't think we will have any issues with that either. This is not the end of the road, though. It's out of our hands, but the vice president has to write her report, and the committee writes their report, and it goes to the C&R committee, which is the Compliance and Report Committee of SACS, who then makes a recommendation to the Board of Trustees of SACS. So stay tuned. But I hope it won't be until June before we find out for sure. So,
Thank you.
Well, thank you for the leadership you're providing. I was one of those that was privileged to be interviewed by the SACS people, and we did everything we could to tell them that you walked on water. But, close.
well, thank you. It was a team effort. No one person did all of it, and that's what it should be, because the compliance report is about the entire institution and what the institution does. So we had 14 teams, and then we had a large team working on our QEP, our Quality Enhancement Plan. So, thanks to all of the people that were involved.
Thank you, Dr. Garrett. Next item, the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board Student Success Advisory Work Group. So Ms. Charlotte Wesley, who is the college's lead student success coach under our new success coaching program, which is also the focus of our SACS COC reaffirmation QEP. And that's a requirement of the SACS reaffirmation. So you have to take time to identify an initiative through data analysis, developing the program, and then implementing the program. And for Central Texas College, we had the privilege of actually having a proof of concept available for them to review when they came on site. And that's a pretty big deal. And so I'm exceptionally proud of Dean Starkey and her entire team that led that effort. But back to Ms. Wesley, she was selected to represent Central Texas College on the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board's Student Success Advisory Work Group because of her experience and expertise in advising and in the student success work. And as a member of that work group, she'll provide guidance and feedback for programs that will have a positive impact on our students. So I invite her to the podium to talk a little bit about that and her experience thus far.
Hi, good afternoon to this board, Dr. Carter, Dr. Garrett, and my wonderful Dean Starkey, Julie. I thank you, and I'm very excited for this opportunity. I know it's going to be work because the in work group, but I am up for the challenge. I was able to, the past couple of years, I've gone to the Student Success Conference in College Station. And so this year it meant a little bit more to me as a success coach. So of course I wanted to do all of the success coaching sessions, but knowing that I was going to be a part of this work group, and I had the opportunity to meet with Ms. Suzanne, and we talked a little bit about the work that we would be performing, building a talent strong Texas. That's one of the initiatives that we're going to be working on, identifying the types and the effectiveness of the various success programs. So I'm very excited to get to work and to represent the state and Central Texas College. So thank you. I appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you,
Good.
Ms. Wesley.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can clap. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, ma'am. Next item is the purchase of equipment for a welding department.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Gonzalez.
I am here to make a request to purchase equipment in excess of $50,000. The welding equipment we want to purchase includes a water jet table and a water jet neo pump. Those pieces of equipment are in alignment with what's happening in the welding industry right now. Having that equipment will allow our students to get hands-on experience with using a water jet pump, which provides us with more accuracy with cutting, which means less cost for materials. The other thing it does, which we are not seeing right now, but it is soon to come, it will allow us to use this equipment across departments because it cuts more than metal. Right now, we are in conversations about building a program that allows us to take what's happening in our building trades program, what's happening in our graphics and printing program, what's happening in our welding program to create one program that is interdisciplinary. So more of that to come. This equipment I'm asking for totals $125,000, $846. The purchase will come from Perkins funds. We were awarded $152,566, and so we'll be below that budget, but that is my request. Any questions?
Questions? Anyone? Thank you. You also have a,
Mr. Armstrong has a
oh, I'm
question.
sorry.
Yeah, just if you don't mind, we had a great tour of the welding department not too long ago, and I appreciate showing us around. And I did have a question then, and I just throw it out there is the idea of robotics welding. I've not heard it at the board level yet here, but maybe that's something in the future that we need to consider.
So I heard you loud and clear when you came through, and I've already begun what I call the preparation for asking. And I say preparation for asking because, as you're well aware, it's not a cheap piece of equipment. And so,
Right. Yeah, with the technology that's seemingly leapfrogging quicker than we can understand, a lot of welding's done by robotics, and if our students know that component as well, and like what we're doing here, it's also transferable along different platforms.
absolutely. Yes, sir.
Whether it's building robots for a competition or doing it for a job training event, either way.
Absolutely. My ask would be to remember. Remember. Just remember. But that's precisely what we're trying to do. Even with the purchase of the water jet table, we're trying to catch up, right? So that we don't fall further behind. Our students have been able to do a great job with what they have, but we believe that we can do better, we can do more, and that's what this ask is all about.
If you look at YouTube videos on water jets and robotics and stuff, it's truly amazing. Amazing stuff.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate that. Anybody else? Other questions? Okay, you have another item
Yes, sir.
for Toyota Prius products.
Absolutely. So we received a State Energy Conservation Office or SECO grant in the amount of $138,903. What we want to do with that grant is purchase an electronic vehicle along with some cutaway trainers that will allow us to get on board with industry as it concerns electric vehicles. The vehicles specifically, and the vehicle and the cutaway we want to purchase specifically will allow us to do two things. Number one, we can study electrical vehicles. But this is a hybrid vehicle, which will allow us to study the cross between gas usage and EV. The cutaway, so that is a full-fledged vehicle that is plugged in, that will be operational, but it's a trainer because it allows the instructor to include in it faults that the students are then responsible for troubleshooting and then fixing. And so that's what the plug-in is. The cutaway is the insides. Think about your biology 101 where you had to dissect that frog, right, to see what the inside looks like. That's what the cutaway vehicle is. It's the innards, the inner workings of that hybrid vehicle. Again, this will give our students hands-on experience with what is happening in industry. And oh, by the way, we were contacted by Tesla, and we are now partners with them to provide graduates for their Gigafactory, right? Our students need to know what's happening in this field. And so that's what that ask is. Let me give you some numbers. And so I gave you the grant number. The two pieces of equipment we will purchase total $88,036. There is yet another piece of equipment. It does not exceed $50,000, which is why you don't see it here. Any questions?
Comments? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Molina, come fly with us.
I realize I haven't been here in a very long time. I used to come here every month. So this is an actual simple request compared to the other ones I brought before. So this is the same request we had last year for airplane repair parts. So early September, solicitation IFP 25002 for airplane repair parts was issued. We had one response from PAC Aviation, and what I'm going to bring forward to you next week is a request to award PAC Aviation such contract. The contract limit is $95,000 for a fiscal year, and it would expire in August 31st of 2025 with one optional period of extension if exercised from September 1st, 2025 to August 31st, 2026. The contract includes parts that we already think we're going to be requiring during the fiscal year, and also the ability to request unforeseen parts that may be needed through the fiscal year.
Questions?
Is there any questions?
American Airlines is looking to partner right now, and they're coming. They need RJs. Is that on our radar, or have we been looking at that?
So our graduates do get hired by regional airlines already. We do have a company that reached out to us. It is a regional airline, and we're going to have a conversation with them on Friday to figure out more about what the program that they're offering to potentially to our graduates that will help them align with what the requirements are. And we're going to be discussing that with them this Friday. I'll bring more information to you after, I have conversations with my supervisor and my chain of command as well.
Yes. Anyone else? Thank you, sir.
No problem. Have a good day.
Steam piping and heat exchanger replacement.
Mr. Jerry.
Good afternoon. I'm here today to ask for consideration board approval on the steam piping heat exchanger. over in the old Student Center Building 220. A lot of the parts have been replaced over the years, but there's still some issues in there that are original to the building 1974. So what we have done is we have asked Brandt Mechanical to come in and do a evaluation of the steam piping and heat exchangers in there. The actual parts are extremely hard to find. The heat exchangers aging. It has become basically a safety issue as well because of the old piping. We've done numerous different repairs in there. So they had come up with the quote for $125,250. That's putting in new piping, new heat exchangers, and they are on the buy-board contract. So I will be recommending next week to push that through.
Questions?
I would think that the 50-year-old technology is a little dated. And this only pertains to this one facility? For the
Well,
exchange, or?
When we did the original infrastructure, did the underground piping, there were several buildings that we knew that were getting in the shape. We've already done, I think, the telecommunications building. We went in, replaced all the piping in there. So it's just an upgrade on that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, sir. You have another item, boiler replacement.
Yes, sir. This is the boiler in the gymnasium. You may recall back in April when Mr. Harmson, I think, was still here, he reported there was an issue with the drivetrain, the gas train on that boiler, and we had a malfunction. The insurance company came forward, looked at the damage that was done to the boiler. And then also the Texas Department of License and Regulations came through and inspected. We had an inspection done in January of that year and no findings on that boiler. It was just an unfortunate event that happened. But because of that, it's taken some time to get through the process to get it replaced. So both these jobs were actually have a placeholder for Christmas break to do that. So
How many other big boilers do we have like this?
oh gosh, I don't know.
Is it one per building?
Pretty much. Then we have some redundancy in some buildings. Like Planetarium actually has two. The bigger buildings, we have some redundancy there in case it goes out. But this, unfortunately, the one in the gym it's a standalone. So if we've got to get it up and going for May and winter, get some heat in the building. So kind of behind the eight ball again. It took a while to get the inspections and everything done. So
Did you give us a price on this one?
no, sir, I did not. It's not to exceed 200,000. Brandt Mechanical again, and 95,652 will be insurance funds coming back to the college.
That's good.
It's a $100,000 deductible.
Have we inspected the other boilers that may be coming up?
Yeah.
May have for similar defects or?
Yes, sir. We've got Brandt Engineering went around and looked at all the gas trains in those. But it's an annual Texas regulations that we have to have them inspected every year. So just something that kind of slipped through. So
If I may, with the 20-year of lifespan on this item and the last item, is there like a built-up replacement plan? Say we expect its life to be 20 years. When it hits 20 years, we take a look at it. If it's still functioning, don't mess with it. But do we try to set aside funds for that eventuality at that time?
yes.
Through the budgeting process.
Good question. Okay, you have an uninterrupted power source. I'd like to get plugged into that.
Yeah, no doubt. This is something we've been looking at for a couple of years now. I think, again, Mr. Harmson had brought in front of the board to get the batteries on this UPS replaced maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It has a 15-year life expectancy, so it is well past its use. It is the main source between the power coming in to computer admin and the emergency power, the generator. So if things do not go correctly, it gives what is it, like a 20-minute delay on that. So if the emergency power doesn't kick on, it's kind of go between there to keep us up and going, so we don't have any issues and can get everything.
Questions?
And the power source would be, how long does it give you power?
20 minutes.
It's 20, okay, so
20,
it's
30
pretty,
minutes.
and if your event that causes you to lose power is a longer term, what's the plan?
We've got
on
a
that?
generator,
Generator.
emergency generator backup. This is just a safeguard.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking you had. I just want to make sure that I
Sure.
understood. Thank you.
So it's getting some age on it, and like I said, we've replaced the batteries. This is a RK-Bass Tips Taps contract that we've had them look at, and it's a $200,000 replacement charge. So that will include a 3-year maintenance agreement for that as well. So we can utilize that.
Mr. Molina is sitting back there thinking somebody came up with more financial need than he usually does. Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Any other questions?
Unfortunately.
We got time to get this in before freezing weather starts?
Yes, sir. We've got it tentatively put in for Christmas break. Hopefully they can get started on some of it during Thanksgiving. We've got there was a 10 to 12 week lead time on the boiler. That's another thing, we're having to deal with is lead time on all these big items that we used to not have to. So we've got a place order on the boiler. So as soon as we get the okay move forward, we can get that in and get it in on Christmas break or Thanksgiving break as soon as it comes in.
So it turns out to be kind of a glorified Tesla Powerwall,
Yes.
because we've all been reading a lot about storage. We can create it all from solar and wind power, but if you can't store it,
Right.
we're in big trouble.
Mm.
Because they're talking about storage units the size of this room and the size of many of our buildings.
Anyone else? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
Call the board's attention to the fact that in November and December, we have some questions that we can answer about schedule. November, our normal meeting of third and fourth Tuesdays, Thanksgiving week, and the institution is shut down during that week, would be our normal board meeting day. If we move that meeting back to the 19th, the question is, do we want to have a workshop on the 12th, the week before that, which, by the way, is the same day as Thanksgiving lunch, so we wouldn't miss out on eating. What's your pleasure?
12th, 19th look good. I mean, it gives us an opportunity to hear what we need to do, to think about, so we're not pressed for time.
Okay.
And I think the 19th, you're going to have the Thanksgiving dinner.
On the 12th.
The 12th.
12th,
So
the workshop.
kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get to eat twice, right?
Okay.
Just ensuring public notice for all those that need to know.
Because that will be the second Tuesday versus the third.
Yeah, it'd be the second Tuesday, and the third Tuesday would be our board meeting.
Good.
Okay, we're all good with there? All right, then that leads us to December. December, we have the potential for a schedule for a workshop on the 17th, the third Tuesday, but then the next week is spring break or Christmas break or whatever. The question then in December, do we want to have a workshop before lunch and a board meeting or no workshop at all? And do, what's your pleasure?
I kind of think it depends on what's brought up. So
I guess that puts it on, you know.
It's typically the AFR.
Yes, Mr. Barton asked about that today.
It's,
And that would need a vote, you said. Is that correct?
Okay.
so that's typically if we forego, when we have foregone a workshop, that we've had a meeting at least so that you can.
Well, don't we have to vote on the audit before the
That's
end
what
of
I'm
the year?
talking about. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, sir.
Yeah.
The AFR is the annual financial report.
So we need a voting meeting.
Yes, a
in
meeting.
December.
Yes, sir.
Do we need a workshop though, I guess is the question.
What do we have besides the
One thing you've done in the past is.
audit? Do we have any major items beside the audit for December?
We normally don't.
No, sir. We try to get all the business in before December and then
No,
anything that
just a meeting to make sure we can make sure we got the state requirement under control.
Right.
Right.
One thing you've done in the past is, Dane presented it in the workshop, and then you just came in here and voted. It's an option, another option.
Everybody okay with that? Just a big board meeting on the 19th, excuse me, yes, on the 19th
17th.
of turn of December. On the 17th,
Yeah.
which is the regular third Tuesday of the month.
Yeah, Lawton Vernon usually comes.
Okay? Do that.
Just a meeting.
Yeah, just a meeting, right? Okay. That was easy.
Oh, I am so sorry.
You do that.
I did. I'm sorry.
Get our attention.
And wake everyone up.
The next Tuesday before lunch will be a full board picture, 11:30. Become prepared for that. Is he doing individual pictures this time or just
Just group.
a group? Okay.
Dress blues and tennis shoes with a light coat of oil.
If everybody does the same, it'd be. The announcement of the board meetings we've already dealt with, the upcoming two months. There's somewhere in here, yeah, there it is. Recommend any topics for upcoming agenda items. Any board members? Eric, have anything?
Pass. I'd like to get a resolution on the internal auditor. We can have it
For next week?
for next week
Okay,
after that executive session.
okay, yeah.
Nothing.
Just an update on the military contracts and see where we're at, where we stand with those.
I don't know if every board member got a copy of a letter expressing some concern about items related to the institution, people unhappy, et cetera, et cetera. Anybody else get a copy of this?
Yes, sir.
Just dated a year from now.
There was no return address on the letter. There was no signature to the letter. And so my response to those kind of letters is that. But if you hear anything, let us know.
I will.
Anything else for the good of the work? Let's be adjourned. Yeah, but
At 2:00, we will move into the campus center to celebrate the hard work of our staff and faculty. If you're available.
see, we got through in time, right? Meeting adjourned.